Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so let's talk about the Alliance War Showcase. Now I do know that the content, well, let's just say this politely as we can, has caused some mixed emotions in players. However, one of the rewards is that Deathless King Root piece, therefore I do believe that a lot of people will attempt this. Now this is for Paragon and Valiant players only. And the entire quest is split in 2 lanes. So that is exactly how I'm going to approach this entire endeavor. I'm going to break down every single fight with my fight suggestions, as in like the best options. At the same time, I will try to briefly explain, what to watch out for in those fights. And then I also expect you guys to weigh in because I will be using a spreadsheet that I can update also based on your comments, because this is just my perspective based on my experience or my thoughts. It by no means is perfect, and there are a lot of people who know things that I don't out there and vice versa. So we can learn from each other and make this also, better and more helpful. So there are 2 tabs in this spreadsheet. I will leave a link to this spreadsheet in the video description. And let's get started. So I listed all the opponents on your left side, on your right side. Then I listed some of my suggested champions and added in some notes as well. Keep in mind that for Photon, you can easily swap in champion at the end. And that means that you effectively have 4 champion slots. All 4 are free for you to choose which champions you're going to end up bringing in. Now, the most important thing about Venom is you don't really need anything special for Venom. That's one of the mistakes that I made, because Decay kind of bypasses Venom's node. If you have any Decay champion and you inflict debuffs, you don't care. Not to mention that you can use virtually any champion if you're willing to restart a couple of times and avoid that armor buff. So, CGR, Galen, Hulkling obviously works the best, but this is one of those champions you can, again, take with any Decay champion. Just test it out with Photon or, Silk or Cassie or whoever, will be fine. And again, there will be times when he doesn't even proc a single armor or buff, and you'll be also perfectly fine. And against Kindred, again, kind of like the dirty secret here for a lot of people who did not play Alliance War that might not know, is that any Decay champion will work because Decay will shut down debuffs. Decay plus debuffs will shut down Kindred's Degen as well as Hazard Shift. So this is actually a very cheesy fight with virtually any of the Decay champions, because you get free healing if you use non-immune champions. You're going to get that shock debuff on you or bleed debuff on you or whatever is there, and you're just going to get willpower healed from it. And you're not going to take Kindred's Degen as long as you have the debuffs on the opponent. Personally used Photon, super easy and quick fight. Longshot is one of the specialty fights. Longshot might act like it is a tricky fight. There is kind of a trick to it where you need to get familiar with Longshot's level 1, as in like dex it, dash in, evade it, and then punish it. Other than that, be careful of eating his level 1 if you're not bleed immune, or be careful of eating his level 2 if you're not incinerate immune, if he has his Pure Heart active. And obviously you will want to mitigate that regeneration. For me personally, this is one of those fights that I did in Alliance War a lot. I used Cassie, but you can also definitely use Void and Sandman. They'll do just fine. I do think you can get away with using Titania as well, or again, most of the Decay champions, as long as you are confident in what you're doing in that fight. It's a bit of a practice fight. He will pretty much spend all fight unblockable. That is something you do have to count on. Against Bishop, if you do want to push him to level 2s, ideally, but if he does throw his level 1, then know the fact that Decay also takes care of Bishop's Incinerates. I personally used Cassie, but I'm sure that Titania, Ham, Silk, Void all will work fantastic as well, and many other champions. Against Gore, another super important aspect, that Decay kind of takes care of the dot damage there. So Cassie is quite a solid option. Silk will do just fine. Photon as well with the heal reversal, as well as Void, as well as Spider Ham, because he's going to be spamming his special attacks quite a lot. And as long as you have debuffs, you don't really care about his dots being placed on you. Just make sure you don't eat too many level 3s. Now against Baron Zemo, that is a hazard shift lane, and he is not a tactic champion. There is no tactic node available, so anything that would, fit for hazard shift Baron Zemo, you can do Kingpin, you can do Hulkling, you can do Ghost. I actually tried the fight out with Photon, and Photon did surprisingly well because you debuff him so heavily, and you are bleed immune, and you can also, get the 5th debuff on with the special attack that it just worked out quite well. Honestly, Photon was surprisingly good against Baron Zemo. Then against Mysterio, another one of the tricks is the fact that if you have debuffs on Mysterio with Decay Champion, then you take no damage back from level 1. So you can always just bait out level 1s and punish them, and that makes the fight a lot easier. I know it's like Stunning Reflection and Polka Dot Power, but you don't have to use, champions that have the dots. You can easily use something like Cassie, something like Photon, just keep him full with debuffs, never throw special attack in a fight, and you will still be just fine. You don't necessarily have to have power. Like Photon, did all of Mysterio's very, very, very well for me. I could choose which special attack I want to push him to. With Photon, if I accidentally parried, you do have that safety net as well where you go phasing, and that kind of saves you too. So Photon was perfect. I assume Cassie is going to be great. Jabari, Massacre is very good too. And against Photon, I made a mistake going in with Kingpin the first time. It was significantly harder. In fact, I'm actually going to delete Kingpin off this. I don't think Kingpin at the moment is a very great option, especially whilst Photon is kind of bugged. I heard very good things about Elsa being used. For me personally, it was most easy with Mantis. I heard a lot of people being very, very successful with Crossbones as well, and I know for a fact that Zemo destroys that Photon too. So does Elsa, and this again you can swap in. I'm going to write it in swap in. And there we go. If you have any more questions or remarks or additions that you would like me to add to the notes or suggested champions, please do let me know. But let's move on to the right side. Again, I'm not going to reiterate points about Venom and Kindred because we covered them. But the right side is significantly harder. It is. Werewolf by Night, super easy fight. Right, so that's the final one on the path itself that differs. Werewolf by Night, I'm not going to mention too much. Basically, use any Decay champion. Because Decay will switch off the Hazard Shift, and Decay will switch off Sugar Pill. And it also has Conflictor on it. And if you use Decay champion, you're going to have all the Withers in the world, which is just going to steal Wolfie's power all the time. So yeah, it's like a super easy fight with, Photons and Cassies and Silks and Voids and whoever else that inflicts a lot of debuffs from Decay tactic. You'll do just fine. It's super easy. Because again, Ruptures will do no damage. Hazard Shift debuffs will no damage. You can just go in and whack them. Right. That means that we need to talk about Pham, Red Skull, and Sasquatch. All three of those are BS fights. Really quite rough. Pham is actually significantly easier than the other two. Once you kind of realize that the key is just the slow play. Honestly, any of the Decay champions, again, will do just fine there. And only thing you need to do is just slow play. Because Decay can take care of the Chitin Stones as well, of course. But still, if you're going to be allowing him to have his armor ups, he's going to start glancing. And once he starts glancing, the fight's taking forever. And therefore, the key to that fight is just do not let armor ups to build up. Whenever he gets an armor up, pause it or intercept him. And make sure you keep them off. Everything else in this fight is going to be very, very basic. Don't stress about it. Just make sure he never builds up any armor ups. And done. And easy. And nothing else to worry about there. Aside from the Chitin Stones node where you do need that bleed immunity. Obviously. But again, as long as you are willing to wait it out, you will be fine. So, Red Skull. Nasty. It's a nasty, nasty fight. It's one of those fights where we never actually played through it as well, because obviously he got buffed after this tactic went away. So we do not know all the ins and outs and tricks of that fight and who would be the best champion. I had the best results with Galen or Kate. Both of these champions are capable of soloing the fight, even though the fight by no means is easy. I have heard that Corvus does quite well, or you can just use decay champions that are buff immune and slow played. Punish his level 1s with your heavies, you know, just be very, very careful and just slow play it. It's a tricky fight. It really is, and it's extremely unpleasant fight. One of the more annoying fights that I have done in a very, very long time. Because obviously, because of protection, you have to knock him down. When you knock him down, he goes debuff immune. When he goes debuff immune, decay tactic gets completely countered because there are no more debuffs active. So you can't have the slow. So if you do have a buff expiring, he can go unstoppable. After each of his special attacks, he's going to be having either unstoppable or auto block. It's just a nasty fight. They should not have added this fight in there. It's just a very feels bad type of fight. Again, Galen and Kate, I think overall do best here. Kate because of her passive cold snap, and you can just, you know, heavy punish him all the time. But be careful with Kate's parry, because if you parry into auto block, you will take a lot of damage. And Galen, you know, just because he gets lots of armor ups, Galen should be doing fine. Do not hit his block, by the way. Anyways, then we have Sasquatch. And Sasquatch is another one of those slog feels bad fights. There's no easy great option. Photon did fine, and Kate can do okay with Caltrops as well. Again, it has the knockdown right back at it node. Just not a great fight. I'm thinking maybe Onslaught can work on this. I'm not sure. Possible. That's why I put the question mark there. I was going through the Onslaught's abilities. I think it could be possible. Just again, make sure you do not dex and you don't get your placebos on. But I don't know. It's just an annoying, fairly rough fight. Photon and Kate so far, I think, have the best options. If you have better ones, let me know. And yeah, Wolfie I covered, Mysterian Photon I covered. So this is basically it. Again, most of these fights are fine. The entire left side's pretty much fine. And Red Skull and Sasquatch, both of those just make this quest quite feels bad. As well as if you are struggling with Photon Boss, especially if it's the struggle that you're experiencing due to the, well, bug that she has. Overall, though, as long as, again, you have experience, you kind of know what you're doing, it's not that bad. I definitely used some more items than I would have normally used because I kind of streamed it live. I didn't focus as much. Definitely, again, the key is do not use and do not take a roster spot up for Venom necessarily. You don't have to. If you're going to the right side, fair enough. You can bring in Galen and it's going to work fine. But on the left side, you definitely don't have to bring in a specific counter for him. And yeah, again, if you have things to add, let me know. If you have comments or more questions, do let me know. I will post a link to this spreadsheet in the video description below. Hope it's useful to you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about